Well, thanks for hopping on, for a quick chat. I just want to kind of get to know you a little more and about your adventures and locations and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
of course. Well, yeah, I mean, just a kind of little background about me is, I've been in the location hunting game for a few years now, um, more full time, not really full time, but spending a lot of my time doing that. After a trip to Sonoma County, visiting the Scream locations and the Birds locations in Bodega Bay, that kind of, kind of jump started everything for me. And then, it became more of a hobby. And then, it kind of just went off from there. And yeah, just love movies, big cinephile, and love TV shows and anything cinema. And yeah, just want to talk about what you're into and kind of how you got started. And I think what stuck out to me from your channel was the fact that you go to not just movie locations, but locations of kind of everything, which is kind of fascinating to me.
Were you following the Have You Seen Nash one or my most recent channel?
Kind of both. I've seen both.
Okay,
So,
because I kind of stepped away from the Have You Seen Nash one because I really wanted to focus on the Film Quest one because
okay.
that's pretty much like my I guess you could call it a niche or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Like film locations and stuff has always been like my favorite thing to do. And with the other one, with my first channel, it kind of like branched off to a little of everything. There wasn't one specific, subject as to where the new one, it's everything movie related. So that's kind of
Okay.
where I'm headed with that. I started it a few weeks ago. It's not like big or anything, but
Mhm.
it's just kind of stuff that I'm working on. So
Sure. Yeah, totally. Now, where are you based out of?
Ohio.
Oh, okay, cool. No way.
So I live in Johnstown right now, and it's probably about 30 minutes from downtown Columbus.
Okay, sweet.
So it's like right. It's kind of nice because like there's so much stuff in Cleveland
Hmm.
that's been filmed up there. So it's only about a 2 hour drive. Then Cincinnati, that's about 2 hours. So it's not, you know,
Nice.
a terrible drive, but
Hmm.
it still sucks because it's like a 2 hour drive when you're driving by yourself.
Right.
But yeah, and other than that, like it's kind of nice being out here. Like obviously it'd be nice to be in LA where everything is,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's like there's quite a bit of stuff filmed around here.
Cool.
So
My girlfriend's from Westerville, so I'm
oh
not super
really?
familiar with the area. I've only been once, but I know there's a lot of stuff filmed out there, and I should probably get out that way pretty soon because I know more than you would think is filmed out that way.
Oh yeah, there's
But
there's quite a bit filmed out here in Ohio, like
mhm.
all over actually. It's crazy to think that, you know, movie companies find random stuff here in Ohio and like, yeah, we're gonna shoot that here. Like
Right, right,
why Ohio of all places?
right. That's so bizarre.
It
Yeah, I know. So I live in St. Paul right now, in Minnesota.
okay.
Fairly new to the Midwest. I'm originally from New York. Went to school in Savannah, Georgia, and then moved out to Portland, Oregon for a few years. So I've kind of been everywhere.
Oh wow.
So yeah, Midwest is great though. I love it because it's literally the middle, and it's easy to fly everywhere. Like you were saying, LA, it's easy to get to if you need to go to, do a week of locations. Just do
Right.
that. So it's been fun though. But yeah, I've been discovering, trying to figure out all the Minnesota locations. And it's been fun kind of doing that. There's so many movies that I've never heard of that I've just been, watching specifically for the locations. So it's been kind of
Right.
fun. But
Yeah, I know that feeling.
mhm.
That's great though.
So you're from Ohio originally too, and you live there
Yeah.
now. Okay, cool, awesome,
Yeah.
nice.
So if there's anything in Ohio that you could think of, it's on my to-do list.
Yeah, I think there's one. I'm a big like true crime fan, so I love, I'm a big horror guy, true crime stuff. I love all that. And I know my friend Dahmer was shot there, I believe, in his. I think he's from there, right? Because
Yep.
it was shot in his original. He was shot in his childhood
Yeah,
home.
yeah, it's just outside of Akron. It's a small town called Bath,
Okay.
Ohio, which is really strange. But I've been to his house before. I did the Jeffrey Dahmer like little documentary of
Mhm.
like his life growing up and stuff. But yeah, they actually did film inside of that house and outside of it, which is really strange. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
would be like that would be so eerie, but crazy at the same time. I mean, it would. Yeah, actually, I
yeah,
Mark Myers, the director, I like hit him up on Twitter randomly just to, like, see if he would respond, and he did. And I'm trying to get him on one of these conversations pretty soon, so that would be pretty cool.
oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, so that'd be awesome. But so like, what kind of movies are you into? Like, what in general? Like, what do you like to? Are you kind of everything or specific? Specific.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I know not a lot of people. Well, I mean, some people like like the Marvel stuff.
Mhm.
A big Marvel fan. I love horror. I
Yes.
haven't done a lot of horror stuff, but I mean, it just kind of depends. Like, I like a lot of everything. So there's
Mhm.
not really one specific, like one day I'll watch like a comedy and the next I'll watch like a horror movie. And it makes no sense. But that's just that's just how I am.
I
And my
love it.
girlfriend, she's like, you're oh, what did I watch? I watched something a few weeks ago, and I was watching Shawshank Redemption, and she's
Dude.
upstairs and she's what is all that opera going on down there? I was like, it's Shawshank Redemption. She thought it was scary because I previously had watched like a few months ago, I watched The Green Mile.
Nice.
And
Okay.
like the scenes where he like spews up all the crap, and she thought it was
Mhm.
scary. I was like, no, it's not scary. So the other day I was down here watching it again, trying to do, homework on it. She come downstairs and she watched it. She's like, oh my God, that's actually a really good movie.
Yeah, I actually just watched that for the first time recently, believe it or not. The Shawshank, and I mean, it was incredible. It was amazing.
Yeah,
That was shot in Ohio. Have you been there?
it's funny. Yeah. It's funny because when I very first started YouTube, that was the first movie that I did locations on.
Mhm.
And it was back in like September of 2018. And it's so terrible. Like, somehow it got blocked on YouTube. So
Really?
nobody can watch it. Like, I don't know if it's because of the clips. Yeah,
Weird.
like in my YouTube creator studio, it's like it's got the little circle with the like line through it. I'm like,
Weird.
so I can like watch it, but nobody else can watch it. Like, it's not even on that channel.
Interesting.
So um so yesterday and last week I've been working on redoing it.
Mhm.
So that's all I was out doing. I was out for like 7 or 8 hours yesterday, just hitting all
Nice.
the locations back to back. But the last place I have to hit is inside of the prison. So everything else that's outside is done.
Okay.
So that'll be. I'm hoping to get back up there tomorrow because
Mhm.
Mansfield's only about an hour from here.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
So I just have to do a quick walk through the prison, and that one will be done. But
Sweet.
yeah,
That's
it's
awesome.
the first video I did. Oh my God, it was so terrible. I was like, how did I even post this?
Right?
Like, I was like, I've come so far. I was like, I didn't know what to say, and I was just like, yeah, this is where this was filmed. Cut. This is where this was filmed. Cut.
Right.
It made no sense. But with this new channel, I'm trying to like do things a little bit different. Well, you've seen some of the other videos on my
Mhm.
other channel, as to where I'll be at a location and I'll put like a screen cap
Yeah.
in the spot. That's what I want to do, because sometimes the video will get flagged for using the clip, and
Right.
even
Right.
when you take out the audio, it still gets flagged. And I don't want to, like, somebody watching like a 30-minute video get 20 minutes into it and a really important scene gets cut, like
Right.
there's no audio. So I figured if I just like do a quick screen cap and do like a, match it up a little bit, someone's gonna, get the point of
Mhm.
it. So
Yeah. No.
I
Totally.
figured that would kind of help it a little bit, get things moving. So
For sure. I think that's a really good way to do it, honestly, because like it's like you're seeing the photo or the screen grab on the actual, video that you shot, which I think is fascinating because I think it's cool to actually see that lined up like in front of your eyes,
it's it's really hard to,
It's tough.
line things up perfectly. Like, if you line one thing up, then something else is going to be completely out of whack. It's like, oh well, they're going to get the point
Right,
regardless.
for sure. It is funny, like, you mentioning that, how did you post your first video? And it's like, it's hard because, when you start doing this, like, oh, this looks cool. And you just take a photo and you match it up and you're like, oh, it works for now. And then you get more into it. And then you look back and you're like, wow, that was terrible. I need to go back and do that. And sometimes it's
Right.
luckily for you, it's close by. But, for me, when I lived out in Portland, I hit a lot of, Stand By Me and the Goonies and all that. And I kind of want to go back at some point and redo those. But,
Yeah, absolutely.
so it's been good. Um,
I, um, I redid the movie Aftermath. I just posted that
okay.
yesterday, last night, to my new channel, and I did it probably 2 years ago. And I did more locations in this new video. As for the last one, I was just like, yeah, I'm here. This is where this scene was shot. And then like cut to a quick clip of that. And then I'm in a completely different area. I
Mhm.
was like, it went from like a 6-minute video to a 23-minute video from that time jump.
Oh my gosh.
and yeah, like I'm spending more times at locations, and it's weird because I'll take the whole scene and break it down like piece by piece and try to get every point, but it's hard because there's just like if it's filmed in a cemetery, you have to match everything up, and that's what
Yeah.
sucks
Yeah.
because you have to find certain headstones, then you have to figure out like if it's going to cut to a scene, then you got to go back and shoot that scene, then there's another scene, then you got to go back and shoot that scene. It's like it's just a mess, but at the end of the day, it's when you get the video together, it's really good.
It looks awesome. And like I do appreciate when, people like you make those videos because like that's something I would love to do eventually. It's just like, the time I have and I work in video production. So like that's something I would love to kind of just do as a side project. It's just like putting everything together. It's a lot of time people don't think about. They're like
It
every
is.
angle, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, people are like, oh well, you just go out to these random locations and you just shoot whatever. Like,
Mhm.
no, like if you really pay attention, like every detail counts. You're gonna have those one people that are like, well, you're not on this spot. Well, this was where that was at. Like,
Right. Right.
no, like no.
Now, do you kind of like have the scene on your phone or something, or how do you go about doing that, kind of matching it up?
Yeah, I did when I did Shawshank yesterday. It was funny because there's like every scene that I needed to be, I found on YouTube, but every time I found it on YouTube, I'd have to wait like 30 seconds for the freaking ads to play. So I'm
Oh,
sitting in the middle of like this road with traffic going by and just like, and then I had to skip 45 seconds into it to figure out which part it was. I'm just like, but yeah, most of the movies that I've done locations on, I have some sort of clip, but if the movie is newer, like for instance Aftermath, there's no clips
right,
on it whatsoever
right.
besides the end of the movie partially and the trailer. That's
Okay.
it. There's nothing else. So with that movie, I literally sat here one night in the living room and I was taking pictures of the TV on my phone, and I'd have to
Amazing.
go back and edit it and do the filters and everything to make it look decent. So if you watch the Aftermath video, you can definitely tell that I was taking pictures of a TV.
Amazing.
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It's funny, but my girlfriend's like, "What do you do?" Because I did it last night when I was trying to finish the video. There was one scene at the end of the movie where a dude pulled a gun on him. I was like, I didn't put this specific picture into the video, so I have to go back and do it.
Right. You have to.
But right, if it's not on YouTube or on the internet, most of the time I'll take a picture of a TV or find it on my phone somewhere.
Gotcha.
But it'll be
Mhm.
yeah, it's on there.
That's tricky. Yeah, that's a hard. I never thought about that. Like how do you get those clips, especially with newer films? Like for example, I just watched Pig. We're reviewing Pig tomorrow on our podcast, and obviously there's no clips on that. And but luckily, when we lived in Portland, luckily I could see where all the locations were. Like I knew where they were in my head. But if it's finding those locations and getting photos or snapshots, it's tough.
Yeah, and like my problem is like I'll watch the movie like the night before I go out and film, and then I'll
Okay.
get to the location and I'll be like, all right, what the heck happened? Like I'll completely like lose my mind. Like, okay, then I have to go back and watch the clip because I want to say everything right the first time.
Mhm.
But when you go back and like watch all of the takes that I took, it's like none of it made any sense.
Right. Now, has there been a time where you've gone to a location and it's looked completely different and you're like, what the hell is going on?
Um, not that I'm aware of, not with stuff that I've done. Well, the movie Mischief that I did that was
Mhm.
filmed down in Nelsonville, there was a diner scene where in the movie they were like at a diner, they were eating, burgers and fries and stuff. It's like it was the hangout. Um, but when I went and shot it, that specific part, there was a it was in like a little shopping center kind of thing.
Okay.
And the building beside it was gone. So I couldn't tell if it was the actual diner that was gone or it was just something, but there was parts of it that was gone. And I couldn't
Okay.
really pinpoint exactly what it was besides like the front door and the window. But other than that, like no, not since I've been doing filming locations
Gotcha.
now.
Okay.
I've been doing it for my first video was September of 2018. It was Shawshank. That's when I first started doing.
Okay.
But previously, I had been doing locations, just going places and taking pictures before that, but I'd never started doing videos in
Mhm.
2008.
Okay.
So but nothing really comes to mind other than like Mischief, or all the Ernest stuff was pretty much the same. I mean, the Ernest goes to camp, the ending where he picks up the second chancers,
Mhm.
that has kind of changed a lot because there's no gated fence there. There's that actually had changed a lot from the movie, because there's a whole completely different entrance, because it's a water, like people go and pay their water bill pretty much.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's like in the movie there was just like one side of the building, and then now it's just like there's like three doors. And the
Huh.
only way that you could tell was like this little house that's way off in the distance, that's got like a blue siding, and that was like the only thing you could go off of.
Right, right. I know a lot of times, like when I look at photos or screenshots or something, I'm trying to find a location. Look, the background is a really good way to tell that because a lot of that hasn't changed, if anything. Like if a building's been demolished or something, you can still tell by the skyline or, trees or something like that. But
Yeah,
so yeah, it's been good though. Do you have any now? Do you have any locations that you want to visit really bad, like on your bucket list that you haven't been to yet?
of course. I'm trying to I'm trying to get out to LA by the end of the year.
Okay.
I have like a couple of weeks of PTO trying to use, and I have a list of locations in LA. I have four movies that I want to hit.
Mhm.
Terminator 1,
Okay.
Terminator 2, the first Fast and the Furious, and Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Nice.
Those are my top four. But I've been to some of the locations before, but I didn't do a video there. I took a vacation. I took my family out to LA back in I think it was, yeah, right around September of 2018. It was like Labor Day weekend or something like
Okay.
that. And we all went out there for a couple days. And I took my mom and my brother to the high school from Fast Times.
Oh, nice.
And we just took pictures in front of that, the Myers house from Halloween,
Hmm.
um, and the house from Fast and the Furious. But we just took pictures. I didn't do a video or anything. Which
Okay.
at this point, I'm kind of like wishing I would have, because I don't know if I'll be able to get back out to LA again.
Mhm.
But I mean, I got the pictures, but
Right, right. No, yeah, that it's nice that you have like a kind of a set list of locations or movies you want to hit because when you're in LA or New York, it's like you don't know what to do. It's overwhelming, and you're like, what do I want to hit? I'm here, but I want to go here. I want to drive an hour this way or hit 5 or 6 locations on this one street. It gets a lot.
especially LA, because I went out there in May of 2019. Was literally out there for 2 days. I flew out Saturday morning, came home Sunday night.
Okay.
There was a car show called the In Memory of Paul, the Paul Walker car show.
Yep. Hmm.
And I went out there for that. And me and my stepdad flew from LA. We left Ohio at like 3 o'clock in the morning, flew to Dallas, had a layover there, and then went from Dallas to Phoenix, and then from Phoenix
Oh
to
my
LA.
God.
So we got to LA at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and we're on a serious time crunch. And I've never been to LA. I've never driven LA traffic, so I'm like spazzing out at this point. But the first place that we went to was Paul Walker's gravesite,
Oh,
and then
okay.
from there we hit the Fast and Furious house, the market, um, the Michael Jackson Thriller house. But then we were just out all day trying to figure out what we were going to do. And then we got to our hotel. And then the next day we went to the car show, and we literally left the car show, went to the airport.
Oh my
So I,
God.
I was just out taking pictures. I didn't like do any videos. Well, I did a
Right.
video of the car show, but it wasn't anything.
Hmm.
So I'm like, I just really, really need to get out to LA at some point.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
because winter hits around here, I'm not going to really be able to really do any filming locations because there's snow everywhere. It's cold. I'm
Right.
like, I'm not trying to go to Cleveland in the middle of November when it's 30 degrees cooler up there than it is here. I'm just like, no. So I'm trying to
Right.
plan something out. But for right now, while it's still warm, I'm trying to hit everything in Ohio. Like next week, I have a week vacation, so I'm trying to do like a Ohio tour, I guess.
Yeah, might
Just
as well. Yeah.
everything filmed in Ohio. So
Well, I mean, yeah, check that off the box. I feel like once you get that, then you can venture out a little more. And I feel like that's a good point. Like traveling in the winter, I didn't even think about that. Like, being in the Midwest, the snow is terrible and the cold is terrible out here. So a couple trips to LA, in like in November, December might be a good idea.
yeah, because especially Cleveland, like it's right there on the lake, and like
Oh
that
yeah.
lake, the air off the lake, it's terrible. Like I've been to Cleveland a few times in the winter. It's not fun.
No.
So I'm like, I should probably do this before it gets cold. So
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. We may be going to Hudson in October. Hudson area. Never, I've been with, my cousins live there. So I've been growing up. I went as a kid, but I don't really remember it. So I'm gonna have to see if I have time to hit up some locations if there's anything around there. But
well, that'd be sweet.
yeah, who knows? We'll see.
So what are some locations that you really want to hit, like your grail spots or
There's so many. Like, so when the new Halloween came out, the 2018 film came out, I did the convention. I went to the H40 convention in Pasadena. So I did like the
wow.
VIP tour of all the locations from like, a bunch of them. Obviously not the new one because that was in Charleston or yeah, Charleston, but it was amazing. It was awesome. I went to the Myers house and like you were saying, it's a incredible experience, but so those were on top of my list for sure. And I got to hit those. Nightmare on Elm Street. I did all that. A lot of Darnie Darko locations. But like I think bucket list that I haven't been to, I really want to go to Camp Crystal Lake. I think that's like the top of my list. And you know about the tours, right? I assume.
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't done that, but I keep getting emails like, hey, tickets available for this. And I'm like, of course it's the weekend. I'm busy and I can't do it. But one day I'll hit it.
It's in that one. Is that the one in New Jersey?
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite a drive for me.
Yeah. It's a camp, but it's not like I think it's a working camp, but you can't really access it. You have to get tickets. So it's like kind of that sort of thing.
I think there's like, is there overnight tours too?
I believe so. I want to say yes, but I don't know for sure. But that would be awesome. I did go a couple months ago. I went to Wilmington and I hit the Conjuring House. I think that was a big one for me.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome. I did a couple of those. I did the hotel from the Conjuring. Wilmington's got a lot of locations, believe it or not.
I've had my friend used to live down there, and every time I would talk to him, he's like, when are you going to come down to Wilmington? We have like the Conjuring House and stuff. You can do videos on that. I was like, I watched The Conjuring, but it was years ago. I'd have to rewatch it because now there's a whole series on it. And I'm like, it's just going to take too much time. But
I feel you.
But yeah, the Conjuring stuff, that's pretty sweet though.
It was awesome. And I think another one I want to hit is in South Carolina. I can't remember exactly where it is. I think it's like a couple hours north of Wilmington at the Stranger's House. I think that's a big one for me. Just love that movie. I'm trying to think what else.
So you're like the horror locations kind of person.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it started for me, was like horror locations. Like, I was telling you about the Bodega Bay and the Scream locations. Like that was like basically a birthday trip for me. Like I made my friends fly out to Sonoma County for a weekend. We got an Airbnb right in Sacramento and rented a van, did the Scream locations, and drove out to Bodega Bay, ate at the restaurant, the Tides restaurant, did the schoolhouse, and that was dedicated for that. And so that's kind of where for me it started, is like horror location specifically. And then I was like, hey, other people, there's other movies out there, there's other genres, so I kind of just expanded from there. And I was like, I could do this. And another place I really want to hit is Vancouver, because it's like such a hub. And I know like I'm a huge like Goosebumps fan, like the TV show. And I want to hit those locations for sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. So that's top of my list for sure. But I know I'm a big Bates Motel fan as well. So I don't think the motel's there anymore, unfortunately, but I would love to go to the location, at least where it used to be.
Yeah, I think where's Bates Motel? Is that Georgia?
Vancouver.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Weird, right?
I was thinking of Stranger Things. Sorry.
Oh yeah. I do love to hit Stranger Things as well.
There's so many TV shows out there that people are doing locations on.
Crazy. Yeah. And like and there's so many. Vancouver is crazy. The list keeps building as much as I look into it. So
the locations would be nice.
Yeah. I know the original was Toronto, I think, or part of it. So I think it's scattered throughout Canada.
Yeah, like I know the horror movies do pretty well with locations.
Mhm.
Um, I can't think. I've only done two. I did the Dawn of the Dead and
Oh, cool.
Night Night of the Living Dead. It's funny because I posted Night of the Living Dead before Dawn of the Dead, and now Dawn of the Dead is like my big, like the most viewed video I have, and I have to go redo that one now for the new channel. Um, but the only thing closest to here horror wise, there's nothing in Ohio. I mean, I guess would you consider My Friend Dahmer,
Yeah,
or that would be like a,
I'll go true crime horror. I'll do that. I'll take that.
but I was one day I was trying to find are the closest horror movies filmed near Ohio, other than Dawn of the Dead and Night of the
Mhm.
Living Dead, and the only thing I could come up with is Creep Show
Oh
was
yeah,
filmed just
sure.
outside of Pittsburgh in Monroeville too.
Mhm.
So I'm like, there's nothing in Cleveland, there's nothing in Cincinnati, nothing in Kentucky, definitely nothing in Indiana because there's literally nothing there, and the closest thing is Pittsburgh.
Right.
So I guess like I don't know if they call it Pittsburgh was like the horror capital of the world because that's where George Romero shot all of his movies.
Hmm.
But other than that, there's really nothing around me because you got the Myers house and the Elm Street house. Those are out in LA.
Right. Right.
And I remember when I first started doing research, I was like, because they said in Nightmare on Elm Street, it's filmed in like was it Springwood, Ohio? I literally Googled Springwood. I was like, is this an actual place? Like, I want to see it. It's like, no, shot on set in Los Angeles.
Like, damn it, damn it.
Yeah. Like,
I feel that
man,
though. There's no horror in Minnesota really that I can think of as well that I've found at least. So we'll see.
isn't Purple Rain
Yeah, there was a
shot out there?
couple shots here. A lot of it was in LA, I believe, at a studio. But yeah, we actually toured Prince's house, which was awesome. They
Wow,
do
that's
that. They do
awesome.
like tours now, which is it's super cool. They bring you through a studio, and it was awesome. And one of my friends who was visiting at the time is a huge Prince fan, so he was like, and all of his outfits were kind of laid out. It was really cool, and like the Batman soundtrack was like framed. It was so cool. So
So, has there ever been a location where you get to and you just completely geek out? Like you just so, like really excited to be there?
yeah, I think for me, well, the Myers house I think was one of them. I think what the beautiful thing about that was I was on the tour. It was a Halloween specific tour, so I think everyone was feeling the same thing, and it was just like we were all kind of just silent. I think it was kind of amazing. There was like 20 of us, and we're just like kind of just no one knew what to say, and it was kind of amazing. And we got to like peek in, and it was so cool. And then I think another one, the Conjuring House, I think was another one where it was like it was it's like a 40-minute drive from Wilmington. So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And it was actually really cool because it was in the morning. I went super early in the morning and it was like really foggy. And I kind of just stood there and it was just like no one was around. And it was like, I don't know, it was just such a cool experience for me. Um, and then, yeah, I think those were the two geeking out ones. I mean, the Schoolhouse and the Birds was really cool for me, but I didn't geek out as much just because I don't know, but it was cool, I think. And then, trying to think what other ones. Those are probably my top ones. Just the Halloween ones in general, I think were super cool because they kind of embraced it, and I don't know, I loved it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that's great. When I took my trip down to Nashville and I did the Ernest locations, I wasn't gonna do the Scared Stupid one,
hmm,
but I had my friend Ryan, you probably know him, going to the movies.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I met up with
He
him
he
actually recently.
he lives in Nashville, and he was the only person I knew at the time. I was like, "Hey, I'm shooting this video. Would you know of any of the locations from this movie?" And I literally like screenshotted like the downtown Briarwood, I guess what it was one road. And he goes, "Oh yeah, I know exactly where that's at." I would have guessed,
No, no.
but with the Scared Stupid one, that was the only location that I could find was the one road. But I had grew up on that movie with my brother. But the only location that I've really geeked out on was probably Ernest Goes to Camp. Was actually getting inside access to the camp because when I got there, I read online the hours are like 8 to 4. Go to the office, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I could just go to the park, by myself. Tell them that I'm going up there, and I walk into this park office, and this lady's like, um, well, they have a display case of Ernest stuff like right there in the
Cool.
lobby. So I was just taking pictures of that. And she's like, are you here for like, well, actually, I walked up to the counter and I was like, is this where Ernest Goes to Camp was filmed? And she's like, yeah, that was, I forget how she said it. It was like camp number 6 or something like that. And this is a huge park.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm trying to like look at this little map, trying to figure out where I'm at in comparison to where that camp was at. And I was like, well, I traveled all the way from Ohio to possibly see the camp. She said, well, it's blocked off right now. You can't really get to it. I was like, all right, so how in the heck did Adam the Woo get there?
Yeah, yeah, right.
But I know that you can take people go out there and hike and stuff. So I mean, maybe he hiked through the woods or something.
Mhm.
But as I was taking pictures of stuff right there in the lobby, she's like, well, let me see if I can call one of the park rangers and have them take you out there on a
No
tour. I was
way.
like, really? That'd be great. And she's like, yeah. So I got back in the car and I traveled, I don't know, down the road a ways. And I found, I don't know if it was the road to get onto the park. Because you go to like road number 13 or something or other. And I guess I thought I was lost.
Mhm.
Like, because there's so many roads out there and there's just trees and there's no signs. So you don't know where you're at.
Right.
And I see this park ranger truck roll up and he's like, are you here for the tour? And I was like, yeah. And he unlocks the gate and we drive up there and we park at the dining hall area.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, okay, well this dude's probably just going to be like, this is where this was shot, just kind of stand there and just point out different locations. But no, he was actually really nice. He let us inside the dining hall, which
Oh,
I've
so
never seen
cool.
any other videos do.
Uh-huh.
Like I've seen Adam's video and there's a couple other Ernest Goes to Camp videos and they're just putting their phones like up against the glass.
Right,
But
right.
this ranger guy, he actually let us into the dining hall area and then the kitchen where the scene was filmed in there. So that was really nice.
That's
Um,
amazing. That's so cool.
but but the entire time I was there, like my girlfriend, she's just walking around with us because I think we had watched Ernest Goes to Camp like a couple nights before,
Mhm.
and she's never seen those movies.
Okay.
So I was sitting there watching it, and she's like, this movie is so corny. I mean, it was like what, late 80s, early 90s. So of
Totally.
course it's gonna be corny. So we were there at the camp and like my face is like the entire time. I'm just like spazzing. I was like, this is so cool. Like he's letting us in here and this is where
Uh-huh.
this was filmed. And he actually like took us to different locations on the campground, like
Oh,
where
that's so cool.
the lake was. He said, well, just follow me. And then he goes, all right, well, I'll be back here. And like, he had to go on a call and he's, I'll be back here in like 15, 20 minutes. Feel free to, take pictures or do whatever you have to do. So I went back up to the dining hall and I was shooting some scenes that were there. And he comes back like 15, 20 minutes later. It's like, yeah, I'm still here. I'm almost done. He goes, no, you're good. Just want to make sure you're all right. I was like, yeah, I'm good. So I finish and I walk out and we drive out of the park and I close the gate because he told me to close the gate behind me. And this other park ranger comes up. He goes, excuse me. I was like, yeah. He goes, what are y'all doing up there? I was like, Ranger Eric just took us on a tour of the camp up there. He goes, okay, why'd you shut the gate? I was like, he told me to shut the gate. That's all I know. I'm leaving. I'm not here to do anything. I was just taking a video. That's it. He goes, all right, well, you guys have a good day. I was like,
All right.
okay.
Weird. That's crazy. That's such a cool story though. I love that. I love when people kind of embrace it and kind of they're like, "Oh yeah, it was shot here. Let me take you out, let me take you around." I love that. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, there's there's a lot of cool people that do it.
Mhm.
I've never really had any bad experiences at locations, although there was one. I went to the Home Alone house
Okay.
up in Chicago. And when I got there, it was like mid-afternoon. It was like 11, 12 o'clock. And I was the only one on that road. It's in a neighborhood. There's,
Mhm.
regular cars passing by. And when I walked up to shoot the video, the gate to the driveway was open. So I was
Uh-oh.
like, I'm not gonna get on their property.
Right,
I'm
right.
respectful with what I do.
Yeah.
And as I was walking, getting some shots and stuff, more and more people showed up. So they were standing on the road, taking pictures, the sidewalk, and all that stuff. And as they were leaving, I walked back to get one more shot, and the gate that they had was closed. And I've heard not so much as nice things from the people that own that house. I'm like, you kind of have to take it both ways, because I mean, you own a really famous house.
Right.
You're gonna get that.
Yeah.
But then again, you have to have the people that are like, be respectful with taking pictures, because I know some people want to go above and beyond to get, you have to get this shot, you have to do that shot. Like, you don't need to get back in the backyard to get where the tree house was.
No.
You're there, people know, people are gonna know, but you don't like, I just wish some people were more respectful with the stuff that we do.
You there. 100% agree with you. Yeah, it's been a whole, yeah. I have luckily never had any issues either, but I've seen, obviously the Breaking Bad house is a good example, and I feel like that's talked about a lot with, they built the gate and people were throwing stuff in their house, and there's just like a lot of like pizza boxes. I don't know if you've seen Breaking Bad.
No, I've never watched it.
I haven't watched it either really, but I've like done a little research into like locations, obviously, and it's a big show for a reason. So I was like, oh, I'll do some research into it. And yeah, the owners of the Walter White house like built a fence, and it's a whole thing because people would go on their property, and it was terrible. So I hate when things like ruin it for people. It's especially when they're like in the raw state. Like, I don't know, it's aggravating sometimes.
No, it totally makes sense. Like when I was out filming yesterday, I was doing all of the Ohio shots for Shawshank. So the ending of that movie was shot in St. Croix, the Virgin Islands. Obviously, I'm never going to get there. So I was like, okay, well, most of it's shot in Ohio. So for this to make sense, I'm going to have to go to all the locations. So there was one location where the oak tree was. Yeah. There's a sign on the side of the road that says, private property, you are on video camera. You can't miss it. It's right next to the movie sign where it says movie site where this was filmed. And a couple of days ago when I was, because I watch other people's videos that do the same stuff. Mm-hmm. And there was people, because even before I went, I knew that was somebody's property. It's some farmer who owns it. Right. And there was videos of a couple people going in the woods to get the shot of Red walking up to the oak tree. It's a cornfield now. I was like, I get that you want the views, but is it really worth like getting in trouble to do?
And then ruining it for other people.
Right. Because in the video, I actually said, I want to be respectful about this. I'll shoot this from the road. I'm not going to, go trudge through the woods here and find the exact spot where he walked over the creek and go onto someone's property. I was like, my car's out here by itself. So if someone comes out here, someone's going to start asking questions, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, so when another geek out moment. So I lived in Austin for a couple months, and we did all the Texas Chainsaw locations, the remake and the original, the 2003 version. So I went to the house from that one, and then the house from the original. And the original was awesome. I don't know if you've been to those locations or not.
No.
Okay, cool. So the original house, it's like a restaurant now, which is super cool. And, I walked in and I was like, hey, like, can I just take some photos? And they were like, sure. And then the upstairs is like a more of a grungy set situation. It's cool. They had like a band up there, and they had all this Texas Chainsaw like memorabilia. It was actually really cool. But then the other house, like the 2003 version house, it's exactly what you'd expect. If you like that movie, it's like, middle of nowhere, Texas, like literally no one's around, dirt road. It's incredible. It's very eerie, but it's super cool. And there's like a big sign, like it's a long driveway, and there's a sign that says like, private property, do not basically cross. There's cameras everywhere and stuff. So obviously we were just taking photos from the road, what we could. But I mean, first of all, Texas, they could probably shoot you. So you don't want to mess with that. But it's just like, I don't know. I don't want to mess with that. I don't want to mess with people and just get, making people upset, and just like be respectful. So I agree.
Yeah. There was a location yesterday that I went to. It was called the Foodway in the movie, where Red and Brooks goes to work after they get released from prison. Okay. So it's a grocery store, and I went in, and I've seen people just take pictures of the place. Not really. I've seen one video, but the guy kind of did a voiceover, which is probably what I'm going to do. But when I went in, I was just kind of like walk around trying to pinpoint spots. It's been redone since the movie. I think there's like new owners or something like that. So I walked up to the lady behind the counter. I was like, I just have a question. So I know the movie was shot here. Would you care if I took like some pictures or some like a quick video, and then I'll just get out of here and I'll buy like a soda or something and I'll get out of here? She's like, yeah, sure, take as much as you want. Just remember, don't get me in the video. I was like, deal. So I was
That's
just like
awesome.
walking around in the background, and there was this. I kind of like panned over towards her because there's a painting on the wall of Red working at the
Oh,
foodway.
cool. Sweet.
So she's like off in the background, like scooting off a little bit. I'm just like, no, don't worry, I didn't get you in that. And she's like, okay, good.
Awesome.
So like if I go anywhere, like I try to be respectful. Like there's like so many examples. Like again, yesterday, the last scene that I shot for Shawshank is when Andy walks into the bank scene,
Mhm.
and on the sign out front of the door it says no soliciting, no exceptions. So I'm
Okay.
like, um I'm trying to take all these pictures really quick and just dip out. So
Uh-huh.
there's this guy in the window and he sees me walking by and he's like, I'm like, I there's a glare on the window. So I'm like, what is he doing? Then I was like, oh, he's telling me to come inside. And
Oh.
I was like, okay. So I walk inside and he goes, are you trying to get pictures of the bank vault? And I said, yeah, I just didn't want to like overstep. I just kind of want to be respectful. Because no, you're good. He's like, I'm the only one here. Go back and take as many pictures, videos as you want. I was
Oh,
like,
wow.
okay, cool, thanks.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
But like anywhere I go, if it's on like at like a store or restaurant or something like that, I always ask
Yeah.
because I don't want to be like, people are like eating and I don't want to be like, that guy is over there. He's
Right, right,
recording us. Like,
right. It's always
uh,
weird in those situations too, because if there's other people, like especially at like houses, I always get a little weird at houses because like obviously you're on a sidewalk, so you can take a photo of the house, but it's still weird when it's just someone's house that you're taking a photo of.
right. Like I was down in Nashville and I was doing Ernest Goes to Jail, the house that he lived in. It's
Mhm.
like in one of the suburbs of Nashville. And I'm walking back and forth on the sidewalk trying to, get these
Yeah.
do like an intro and talk about the house a little bit. And I was actually across the street, and then I ended up crossing the street and getting some close-up shots.
Mhm.
And I noticed out of the corner of my eye, there was a guy sitting in the house on a computer desk, just looking out the window like this. I'm like, I actually say that in the video. I'm like, there's a guy
That's
watching me
funny.
from outside. So I'm just gonna like sneak away off camera. So yeah, I totally get what you mean with like people's houses and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Especially if they're like lesser known. Like I was in Wilmington, I did like the Little Monsters movie with Fred Savage. I was at that house and it was just like, that's not like I mean, people know that movie, but it's not like a popular movie, I feel like. And I was just, I was taking photos of the house and people were like moving out next door and they were just kind of like looking at me and I was like, I'm just taking a photo of like, it's a movie. Hopefully I don't look threatening, but it gets a little weird for sure, especially when it's like in the middle of kind of nowhere and no one really knows.
do you ever get like when you're at a location and then somebody will be walking by and then like conversation strikes up and then you'd be like, well, this movie was shot here, and they're like, really, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then they get all excited about it. It's
Yeah.
like it's
Honestly, a
like,
lot more than you would think
what?
that happened. Yeah. Like, so when I was in Sonoma County, we went up to the high school. Well, it's a community center, but where the Scream High School was, like the interiors and exteriors. So we went inside to take photos and I was just taking photos or wherever. And someone was like, oh, like, what are you doing? And I was like, hey, like Scream was literally shot here. And they're like, oh, no way. Like, where? And I was like giving them a little tour and it was so cool. Like, it's crazy that people don't know, like, I mean, I
Right.
guess it's Scream, but if you don't like horror, but still, like, I feel like it's pretty cool. I love that. Like, yeah. There's
Yeah.
like, Mighty Ducks was here and like Jingle All the Way was here and like
Oh,
Mickey's Diner's like they love it there. They have like all these
oh
photos.
man.
And it's me. And that's still my favorite diner I've been to because I love diners first of all, but I love it.
That movie, I would love to do something on that movie. That was one of my favorite movies growing up, Jingle All
Oh,
the Way.
so good. It's all
It's so
here. You
good.
could, yeah, come do it. It's awesome. I've done a lot of them.
Dang.
Done a lot of them here, but
It's funny that you mentioned that because the other day, like it was like a couple weeks ago, I messaged my brother out of nowhere and I sent him a screen grab of the guy that works at the diner. I don't
uh-uh.
know his name, But he goes, "Hey guys, that's only a few blocks down over on Wabasha," and it was there was no context. It was just a picture of the guy,
No
and
way.
he responded back, and he knew exactly what I was talking about. He goes, "Why did I read that in his voice?"
That's
It's like,
hilarious.
oh man, but yeah, I didn't know that was shot out there in
Yeah.
Minnesota. That's
Yeah. St.
interesting.
Paul and Minneapolis, Jingle All the Way, Mighty Ducks. I did what was it? Grumpy Old Men, big Minnesota. What else we got? There's Drop Dead Fred. I don't know if you've seen that one. Yeah, there's quite a few, more than you would think. Fargo was shot out here, of course, in this
Nice.
area. And so yeah, it's been cool though. I actually did what did I do? Um, it was recently. I don't know. I'm trying to hit all the Mighty Ducks ones, the whole trilogy, because that was all shot around here. Um, and those are hard to find because not a lot of people post locations for Mighty Ducks. So
Yeah.
I'll get there eventually. But well, cool. I mean, I don't want to take up too much more of your time, and I just really appreciate you
No,
hopping
you're
on.
good. I'm
It's been awesome
just
chatting,
hanging.
man. It's been great. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just
love
hanging out. It's Saturday. I don't really
same.
have much going on today. So
Cool. Well, yeah, I just love talking to other, location hunters. It's kind of fun to hear their stories and what they're into and how they got started. So it's been awesome.
what is the very first location that you went to?
It was actually the Remember the Titans field. I think I was dry. I was really young. It like just came out, and this was like way before, my dad was like, "Oh, hey, this was shot here." I was like, "Oh, cool." Like I was into movies, but I had no idea like location hunting was a thing. And I was like, "Yeah, we'll go, whatever. This is cool." I remember we have like a couple blades of grass we took from the field, and we have like a plastic bag. But I was there. That was like my first location I ever went to, and then it didn't really click to me that I could do this more as a hobby. And then later on, um, yeah, when we were in Texas, that was kind of where it all started. I mean, the Bodega Bay trip was kind of where the like app idea and all this other stuff started, but the Austin, Texas was like kind of where I was like, oh wait, I can actually like, map out where I want to go and, plan some trips and things like that. So that's kind of where it all started. But Remember the Titans was my very first one that I ever went to. How about you?
Wow. It's actually a really funny story. So when I was in high school, it's weird to say that, but
Right.
my aunt, she lives in Columbus, and she found out that Christmas Story was filmed up in Cleveland.
Okay.
So we went up there one year, and it was my first location. I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like this is where it was filmed. This is the house. You get to walk through it and see all that stuff. And as time went on, like I would go up there like every year because we tried to make it a tradition.
Mhm.
But it didn't really like click as much as like location wise, like because across the street they have like a museum with all props and stuff in it.
Right.
I was like, oh yeah, this is cool, whatever. But it didn't really hit me until probably 2018.
Okay.
Because Christmas Story was the first place that I went to. But what actually had got me into doing it was I started watching Shawshank,
Oh, okay.
and I was like, okay, that movie was filmed in Mansfield because I've been through Mansfield, and I used to be deathly terrified of that prison. Like I like ghosts and stuff. It creeps me out. And I was like, because we would take family trips up to like Cedar Point and stuff. And I'm like, my dad would be like, hey, there's that prison right there. But as time went on, I watched the movie and I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. So I started Googling the locations and I realized that they were all really close together. So one day, like I said, the first video that I put out ever on YouTube was a Shawshank video, and it was terrible. So I did those locations, and then I posted a photo. I think it was the bus going up the road, or it was like the front of the prison or something like that. And then I saw the words filming location. And then I just got really curious. And then like I
Okay.
hashtagged it on Instagram. I just saw all these posts of like then and nows.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this is really interesting. Wow, like I'm really intrigued by this. And there was one day where I was just like, I spent like 8 hours just like looking up all my favorite movies and all my favorite like locations and stuff. And I think I came up with like every Terminator location watching Fast and Furious, but it was all in LA.
Right.
And I'm just like, okay, so I wonder what I could do around here. So then, so Shawshank was the first video I did. And then I didn't really do anything after that for a few months because I did Shawshank in September of 2018. And then I went to Illinois in like March of 2019. So my favorite TV show, Prison Break, was filmed up there in Joliet. So I did a video on the outside of that prison, and you couldn't get in because it was closed off because now they're renovating it where people can go in and take tours.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
So they hadn't even started renovating it yet. So I'm just like on the outside of it, just like taking a video and stuff. But that was the second location that I did. And then I just kind of like stopped for a while. And then I really don't know. And then I think that's when I met Scott on Tape.
Okay.
And I was trying to I had just started a new YouTube, which is the Have You Seen Nash? And he goes, my only advice to you would be to just get out there and film. And I was filming literally everything I could think of. And other than Prison Break and Shawshank, I did the Rocky locations.
Nice.
I took a weekend and went up to Philly. And at this point, like, I was new to YouTube. So I was like, I don't really know how this is going to work out. If it works, it works. It doesn't, sure. I don't care. But I think when I first started doing it, I knew that like the passion was there, but it wasn't up until, I don't know, like a year ago that I really started doing it because, you know, Shawshank was filmed here. We have I Am Wrath with John Travolta was filmed in Columbus. Interesting. Aftermath with Arnold was filmed in Columbus. We got Mischief, you know, Avengers in Cleveland. There's just so much. I was like, there's a lot of stuff here that I could do. Yeah. So I'm like, and it sucks because like some of the stuff that is really hard to find, like Fate of the Furious, like the 8th movie, like the driving sequence of that movie was filmed in Cleveland. Like wouldn't think, like they want you to think it's in New York, but no, it was in Cleveland. So that movie has been kind of evading me for a couple years.
There you go.
But I guess like the passion has always kind of been there. Sometimes it gets frustrating. Yes. You know, trying to find the locations and stuff, like especially because I was the only one to do I Am Wrath, Aftermath, and the movie First Kill with Bruce Willis was filmed in Granville, which is probably 20 minutes from here. So those movies, I had to figure out all the locations that I could find. And I went and shot them. Some of them actually turned out well and some of them not so much. But I think my favorite place out of the 3 was probably the Aladdin Diner. Like just like you, like I like diners like as well. Like they have like the best breakfast. So like
they really do.
After I shot First Kill, like every week, every Sunday, I was going there for breakfast. And sweet. I was like, the lady's like, we pretty much know you by name now. I was like, yeah, but I know that movie was set. That movie was filmed here in Granville, and there was one scene. I went there 4 times before I could actually sit in the booth that Bruce Willis sat in. And when I finally got to sit in that booth, I'm sitting there like recording like this. I was like, yeah, I'm in the booth that Bruce Willis sat in. And everyone in the diner is just like, who is this guy? Yeah. like this guy.
I love that. That's so awesome.
But yeah, it's really fun. I love doing it. And you wouldn't believe how many people like actually have the same common interest with that.
It's unbelievable. I feel like social media has only enhanced that. And it's I love the community. Everyone's so nice. Everyone's super willing to share location. It's been really fun. So I've loved meeting everybody and it's awesome.
I've never really came across people who don't share locations. I mean, I've seen it with other posts. Like somebody will be like really, really wanting to find this location. And then somebody will comment like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is, but I'm not going to tell you the information. like why be like that? We're all in this together.
Right. Especially because it's like, if it's public, you know, it's like, why not? Everyone's going to, you know, we all want to kind of share the same experience, you know?
Like do the research like I did. I was like, no, I don't.
No, thank you. Sometimes like it's fun, but other times I'm like, no, I just want to know where everything is from this movie, you know?
Like if I'm traveling like 4+ hours,
Yeah.
I kind of want to know where something is. If it's like 20 minutes down the road, like I'll find it eventually.
Yep.
But no, it's like the community is amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I love it. It's great.
Everyone's super nice and super knowledgeable. And there's
Yeah.
like I'll post a video and then somebody will be like, well, did you know that this scene, it'll be a scene that I didn't cover in the video, and like, oh, well, did you know where this was at? And they give me the information. I'm like, all right, well, then I might eventually do a part 2 if I get enough information on shots that I haven't done yet.
Right. Right.
And then they'll send me like a list of stuff like, here, this is where all this, like, okay, thank you.
Amazing. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. People have sent me like spreadsheets and it's incredible. I love it. All about it. So generous.
Yeah, it's a great community. I love being a part of it. It's just,
me too.
and then like you get those videos that like do really well and the ones that don't. It's just, but then like like I don't really do it for the views. I just like,
Yeah.
my purpose is I do it for the people that want to relive that stuff, and they want to see like behind the scenes stuff, like how it was made, where it was made, the people that can't get to it.
Right. Right.
But then you get those people like, oh, well, this is pointless. This isn't right. That's not right. I'm like, why are you watching it then?
Right. Right. You make a better video.
Like you took 20 minutes to watch all up until this part. Why now?
Right.
Okay, whatever. give me the dislike. I don't care.
Yeah.
You watched it.
Yeah. You gave me the view, so I'll take it. But well, cool. Well, sweet. I mean, yeah, it's been great chatting, and we should definitely do this again soon. And if you're ever in Minnesota, let me know. We'll grab a beer or something.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Yeah, we'll be in touch over social, and I can't wait to see your future videos and all the posts. And yeah, keep going. Love it. Loving your work.
For this new channel that I'm doing,
Yeah.
it was created. I'm doing because my old one is like branches off with everything. There's like car shows, like
Right.
God knows what on there. So for this one, my whole idea, I was actually really skeptical about it doing it first, but I initially started YouTube back in 2018 to do filming locations. Like the Shawshank was my first video. So I didn't know how it was going to go. So as time went on, I created, it's got like a few subscribers, whatever. So I was really skeptical of starting this new one. So my whole idea was I wanted to be everything movie or TV related. So it's going to be filming locations. It's going to be like famous cars that people have.
Sweet.
It's been in movies. What was the other one? Filming locations, cars, and probably like interviews with people.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Like live chats and stuff.
Sick.
So it's going to be like strictly everything movie related. So it's got that specific niche. As far as the other one, it really doesn't. So I'm hoping that this kind of takes off, because everyone I talked to was like, yeah, you should totally do it. And see where it goes. And like I was really excited about it. And then I was just like, I was at work and I'm just like, this channel isn't going to go anywhere. Like all the videos, well, because some of the videos on the Have You Seen Nash one, some of those are getting redone. Like I redid the aftermath, and there's a couple that I'm going to redo.
Okay.
And some of them are just going to be reposted. And then
Gotcha.
there's going to be brand new videos that nobody has ever seen.
Sweet.
So it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I can't wait. So what's that channel called then? What's the
The new one is called Jordan's Film Quest.
Cool. Good to know. I'll throw that in the notes. And it's out though. Like it's public. Is your channel out?
Yeah.
Or is it? Okay, cool. Sweet.
Yeah. If you go on YouTube and type in Jordan's Film Quest,
Okay.
it'll be the first thing that pops up. Like I didn't know how long it was going to take YouTube to actually like place it because I guess when you start new channels, like it's hard to find when you type it in, but I put up a few videos. So it's Googled
Cool.
it just this morning and it showed up. So it's a little picture with me inside of a clapboard.
Okay, cool.
So you can't miss it.
Perfect.
But yeah, it's on there.
Sweet. I'll get a subscribe and shoot that out. So cool, man.
Absolutely. Thank
Well,
you, man. I appreciate. I subscribe to your guys' channel
yeah,
as
thank you so
well.
much. I appreciate that. Yeah. I'm just trying to do more of these. I love these
I saw
conversations. So trying to do more of these.
your interview.
Sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I watched your interview with Ryan the other day as well.
Yeah, yeah, totally. We
Yeah, that was interesting.
yeah, that was great. We actually we met up at the Dark Knight screening in Chicago. Uh
Oh wow.
yeah, we were watching the Dark Knight. It was like an event and he was there and I was there and I was like, "Oh, hey, like let's meet up." You know, first time I ever met like a location person and location hunter in person. And I was like, "This is so cool." So it was actually awesome. But
Yeah, that's the Dark Knight. I was out when I was in Chicago. I was there for like 4 days, and I was so so psyched on getting Prison Break done because I actually was able to get inside the prison.
okay.
And I've been to Chicago 4 times and I didn't hit the Home Alone house. So I was like, that has to happen this weekend. So between those two videos and driving all over, I didn't get to see any of the Dark Knight locations downtown. But I
Yeah.
guess I don't know if Ryan's got one coming out or something like that. I don't know. Or
Yeah, he
if
does.
someone's got one coming.
Yeah, he shot some stuff and yeah. I remember I was downtown for like 10 hours just getting locations when I was there. And it was amazing. I just loved it. So, but yeah, he's got a video coming out. And,
Are you guys having a video coming out or with that or?
No, we won't. That's something I want to get more involved in his videos. It's just like I've been so busy with things. And one of the reasons why, talking to Ryan and you, it's like, it's cool to have those videos that we can share that aren't ours, but I love to share your videos and have people watch them. And I love that. So that's kind of what we're trying to do as well. So
awesome.
So yeah. Well,
yeah,
cool.
I'll keep some stuff in mind. So I know, excuse me, the My Friend Dahmer, I'll be sure to get right on that.
Yeah, please do. That'd be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, there's a few locations. Well, actually, you've seen that movie, correct?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so when he's in the mall and he's acting like a total goofball, like yelling at girls and just going crazy, that mall isn't actually there anymore. They tore it down. It's an Amazon warehouse now, and that sucks.
Okay.
So I was like, I really wanted to get into that mall because I looked it up on Google and I looked to it's a street view. It's just a blank, or it's just a big open area. But when you Google the address, it shows up Amazon. So I was like, do I do a video on that part or not?
Right. Weird. That's so bizarre.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be sure to get on My Friend Dahmer. I'll try to film it next week when I'm on my days off. So get that out.
That'd be awesome, man. I would love that.
Now that I know that you're a horror fan, get that out. So
yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Sweet. Well, yeah, we'll stay in touch and we'll have to do this again sometime. And
absolutely. I appreciate it. I'd love to.
Appreciate you as well. So cool. Well, have a great weekend.
All right. Thanks. You too.
Yeah. All right. Talk soon. Bye.
All right. Bye.